I don't know, this man here, he's confused about something. There we go. I can point to him now. Let me move myself slightly out of the way. There we go. Maybe I need to get more down to his level, possibly. There. So yeah, he's very confused about something there. We can see him a little bit better. Maybe this is all of his thoughts going through his mind. He has a lot of perhaps things hidden deep within him that are all just kind of coming out. And he doesn't really know what to do with it. I think that happens to a lot of people. You have all these thoughts and ideas, that whether it be racing thoughts and ideas, maybe it be negative or sad ideas, or positive and exciting ideas, or anything else. So when you have these sort of thoughts and ideas, it can feel quite chaotic, just like this photo shows. But there's a lot of things that can be hidden deep within you that you may not even necessarily be aware of. These are repressed ideas, emotions, memories, things that you hide deep down and you don't want to show, or you may not even necessarily be aware of. They are hidden deep within you, because you're not able to really open up about them, and you may not necessarily even be aware of them. And ultimately, they do control every aspect of your life. So when you really think about a lot of these repressed subconscious ideas, these memories, these emotions that you may not consciously be thinking about or thinking of, they're still there. They're still in the back of your mind. So to some degree, you could be thinking about them. And then you try to push them out of your memory and try not to think about them. You push them out, you block them out, you don't really connect with them. Then they end up changing your behavior as a result. They end up controlling every aspect of your life. They can make you think certain things based on events that happened in the past, whether it be some sort of traumatic incident or memories from the past. They are controlling your behavior today. So, for instance, this is probably a good example, because I know this has been an example that I've used for my own life even, So when you've grown up with being abandoned by people, you have that subconscious fear because that's how you've been treated most of your life. You think that's what's going to happen with other people that you meet. So as a result, what happens then is you may not even be aware that this fear stems from something that happened long ago in the past, but it's still there with you, controlling your actions, making you very fearful and afraid of connecting with people out of fear that they're going to hurt you or abandon you to some degree. So you may not necessarily even know why you're thinking that, but then you eventually come to a point where you realize that well, there's multiple ways you can deal with the abandonment. Let's talk about that first as well, because you could push people away, or you could try to draw as many people to you as possible to fill that void, because everyone's going to abandon you, so you try to fill the void that you have. So whatever the case is, however you deal with it, there's multiple different ways, obviously. But you may eventually get to a point where you realize that why do I keep pushing people away? Or why do all of the connections that I keep attracting, why do they always result in the other person abandoning me? You may eventually realize that. And I think that is a very, very key point of this, because that really does allow you to realize there's a problem here. And this problem goes much deeper within your mind, within your subconscious and your unconscious mind, that you may not even be aware of. Things that are causing problems that are deep within you, that are controlling your every action. It's very interesting when you really think about it, because when you really put it into perspective and you think about how those ideas that are deep within your subconscious mind or even your unconscious mind deep within you that you are not necessarily aware of, how they control you. It almost feels like some sort of external source is controlling you to some degree. And that can be a little bit scary because you feel as though you're not in control of yourself, that something else is controlling you. And that's something to really consider when it comes to this, because if you start to realize that these ideas and thoughts that you have, they're not you. They're a result of what happened to you long ago. So if you're able to then separate those and see that the things that happened in the past are long gone. They're not repeating unless you allow them to repeat. Then that is one of the first steps you can really do to start to change. But we're going to talk more about how to really discover some of those repressed memories soon, because they do control a lot of the aspects of your life. Now, let's talk a little bit about another part of this, and that can be certain triggers that happen. This can be spontaneous triggers, things that trigger some of your deepest fears, and they just suddenly just come out, and you don't know where they came from. That's because they are deep within your subconscious and unconscious mind, deep within your mind. Something happens, and it triggers that memory and that fear from long ago. And you may not know where that fear comes from. You just know that all of a sudden something happened, and now you're behaving very differently as a result of things that are occurring within your life. So those are all some signs that perhaps you do have some repressed memories here that you need to start changing. You need to start becoming more aware of. And we will talk a little bit more about how to discover what some of those repressed memories are. But you have to remember this. When they are deep within your subconscious mind, when they are deep within there, you may feel as though you have no control over it, that you're not able to change it. You're not able to change the way that your life is because something else is controlling you. Well, that is very, very false. And we will discuss more about what you can do to figure those things out and even change some of those deeper subconscious ideas that are controlling every aspect of your life.